everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Ravinder Dundra. Today we will talk about class 10th CBSE first chapter of Geography, Resources and Development in continuation with the previous lecture. In the previous lecture we have discussed about land utilization. Now let us discuss about land use pattern in India. That means how the land is used in India. What kind of factors that are responsible for usage of land in India. So let us see what are the factors that are responsible for using of land in India. There are mainly two types of factors that are responsible for land use pattern in India. They are, one is this physical factors, the second one is this human factors. What are these physical factors? There are mainly three physical factors are there. They are topography, climate, soil types. So how these physical factors affect the land use pattern is that, for example, if you take this topography, which means a type of land form, it can be whether it is a mountain region, whether it is a plateau region, or whether it is a plain area, or sometimes whether it is a place where the availability of water is more and more. So depending upon the topography, the land use can be dependent. For example, if you see there is a plain area and there is a river flowing beside of it, then what happens is that the land usage will be more and more. At the same time, second factor, that is climate. If the climatic conditions are good, if there is a abundant rainfall, then the land usage may be very high. Then types of soils also, as you will see further in the next videos about different types of soils. Depending upon the soils also, you see the land use can be determined. For example, if you take some of the highly fertile soils like alluvial soil, or you can take any other type of soil like black soil. So depending upon these black soils, the land usage will be determined. For example, if you take this alluvial soil, there will be more usage of land. Then what about these human factors? How human factors are responsible for this usage of land or this? There are mainly again three human factors. One is population density, technology, culture and traditions. For example, what is this population density? Population density means you can say total population by total area in a particular region. This gives us the population density. If the population density is very high, means we can say that we may use more and more land. Then even if the availability of technology, depending upon the cultures and traditions, all these factors are highly responsible for usage of land in India. For example, take technology. There are two areas, if we compare, then you can understand. For example, there is a particular area where highly modernized technology is available, and there is a particular area, for example, no modern tools are there. Then you may guess which place is in which place the land is more utilized. For example, there is a tractor, there is a plow. You can understand where the more and more usage of land will be there. Then even if you take these cultures and traditions also determines, for example, if people are following more and more cultures and traditions, that can also determine the usage of land. Then you all know that in your previous lectures in the 9th class, you might have learned that the total geographical area of India is that 3.28 million square kilometers. That means the total area available in our country is 3.28 million square kilometers. In that, but we have only 93% of land use data is available for us. Why? Because there are some states like Jammu and Kashmir, some of the northeastern states except Assam, the land use reporting is not available. Why? Because some of these areas, for example, if you take Jammu Kashmir, it has been occupied by Pakistan. Some of the regions are occupied by China. In the similar way, in these northeastern states, here also the surveying has not been done properly. Because of these reasons, what happened is that the land use report is not available for entire country. We have only 93% of land usage pattern is available. Then in this 93%, how much percentage we are giving for this net zone area? In my previous lecture we have discussed what is this net zone area. Net zone area means, as I told, for example, there is a land. So if this land is almost equal to 1 acre, then if you are cultivating this land in a one particular year, we can call that the net sown area is just 1 acre. Sometimes if the same land in a year, if it is cultivated for 3 times, then you can say that the gross cropped area can be 3 acres. Why? Because the same land is being cultivated for 3 times. So the total net sown area of our country is 54%. But again, this net sown area also varies from place to place. For example, if you take states like Punjab and Haryana, here the net sown area is very high. As you see, it is something like 80%. The reasons you may guess: the land fertility, maybe the availability of water, or it can be any of these factors which will determine the land usage in Punjab and Haryana. At the same time, if you take some other states like northeastern states, here the land usage or the net sown area is very less. Then there is one organization in the country, that is National Forest Policy, which says, according to 1952 National Forest Policy Act, what it says is that the desired amount of forest area in the country, it should be 33%. At least out of the total land available in the country, in that total land, at least 33% should be covered with the forests. But in India, the desired forest levels are also very lesser. So you can understand from this how the land is being used in India. As you all know, India is one of the highly populated country. So most of the land is being used for construction of houses or roads, or it can be any other thing. And very less amount of land is also given for this grazing of animals. And remaining land, you all know, sometimes which is not used either for cultivation purpose, not used for grazing purpose, and which is left uncultivated, which is something we can say is a barren land. So next we will see something about this land degradation in India and how to conserve this. Let us talk about this land degradation and conservation methods. First, we will see how the land is degrading in the country. There are certain activities which are done by humans, due to which the land is degrading every day in our country. Those activities are such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying. Let us see in which parts of the country these factors are highly responsible for this land degradation. For example, if you take this deforestation, why it is happening, where it is happening is that this deforestation, it is happening in states like Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha as well as Chhattisgarh. In these states, what is happening is that there is a over mining is taking place, and if you want to go for this mining, what you have to do is that you have to cut the trees. Therefore, because of this mining, there is a lot of deforestation is taking place in these states. So because of this, the land is highly degraded in these states. Then if we can take the states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, here due to overgrazing of the animals, the land is being degraded. For example, if you take the states like here Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, here the people, they graze their animals more and more. Because of this, what is happening is that the trees which can control, the grass which can control this soil erosion or land degradation is being eaten by animals, which is more and more. Because of that, here also the land is being degraded. Then one more reason over why the land is degraded is that it is because of this over irrigation. And where it is happening is that it is mainly happening in the states like Punjab, Haryana as well as western Uttar Pradesh. Here, why this over irrigation is taking place is that, as you all know, that we have started this something known as green revolution. And this green revolution, what has happened is that in this green revolution, people use this HYV seeds, and these HYV seeds, they require more and more water. At the same time, they also require more and more fertilizers. Therefore, when these people are using more and more water for these seeds, what is happening is that this water is being mixed with the fertilizers used in this field. Therefore, what is happening is that in the soil or in the land, the salinity and alkalinity are increasing more and more. The salt content is increasing more and more. At the same time, alkalinity means if the pH value is more than 7, we call it as this alkalinity. So this is also increasing more and more. So because of this over irrigation also the land is being degraded. Then why only these states are doing over mining is that these states are almost located in this place known as this Chota Nagpur Plateau region, which is very famous for this mines. Therefore people are extracting more and more mines, then which is simultaneously leading to this deforestation. Then not only these activities, other activities such as industrial effluents also causing this land and water pollution. How? For example, if you take industries, what these industries will do is that these industries they release some kind of chemicals into the land, or you can say chemicals, or sometimes you can also take something known as this industrial wastes. So whenever these industrial wastes are released into the land, this land is being polluted. At the same time this water also being polluted. Sometimes these industries they are directly releasing the water, waste water into the rivers or nearby water sources. Because of this water is also getting polluted. So not only these activities like deforestation, over irrigation, mining and quarrying, but apart from that, due to these industries also the land is being degraded, and it is a continuous process which is happening day by day. And if this process continues, what happens is that in future the land may not be available for proper cultivation. So we need to conserve this land degradation, we need to save this land. How we have to save, how we need to conserve this land? Now we will see how to conserve how this, to stop this land degradation. There are many ways through which we can actually control this land degradation. Let us see what are the ways through which we can conserve this land degradation. The first one and very important thing, which is not only good for this land degradation, which is good for everything, that is afforestation. That means planting more and more trees can actually prevent this land degradation. At the same time, proper management of grazing. So we need to have a control on grazing. At the same time we need to plant more and more trees. That is the first way through which we can control this over land degradation. Then the second one is this planting of shelter belts. Planting of shelter belts means, for example, this is a field, or you can say this is a cropping area. What we need to do is that we need to plant some of the trees on all the sides of this field. Why? Because these trees can actually control this soil erosion, or it can control this land degradation. Why? Because these plants they will stop the soil erosion, or they will not allow this process of land degradation. Then the third one is this growing of thorny bushes. Sometimes the growing of thorny bushes, that means you can see these thorny bushes in regions like desert regions where there is more sand. In that regions you can actually grow this thorny bushes, which can also control this land degradation. Then the next one is control on overgrazing. Control on overgrazing means we need to put some control. Instead of only depending the cattle on this what is that plants and grass available, we need to find out some other alternative solutions to graze these animals. Therefore we can conserve this land degradation. Apart from this, the other things which through which we can actually control this land degradation is control on mining activities. Sometimes instead of going for open cast mining, we can go for this underground mining, which also saves the forests, which will also control this land degradation. Why? Because if we are going for this open cast mining, what happens is we need to cut the trees and we need to make a huge amounts of this quarries on the surface of the earth. Then treating the industrial waste before releasing them into the water bodies or into the land. That means we can say we may have to use this ETPs, or sometimes we may also call them as STPs. What are these ETP and STP means? ETP means effluent treatment plant, or STP means sewage treatment plant. Why? Because if all the industries, if they use this effluent treatment plants, what happens is that if they are releasing any chemicals or any waste what these plants will do is that they will take away, they will separate harmful gas, harmful chemicals separately, and they will release the normal water which do not cause any kind of harm to the land. Therefore, every industry in the country, they need to use these treatment plants before they release their waste into the water bodies or into the land. So these are the methods, these are the ways through which we can actually control this land degradation, we can actually conserve this land degradation. Once again, if you take, many important things are like afforestation, planting of shelter belts, growing thorny bushes, control on over irrigation, overgrazing, then control on mining activities, at the same time treating the industrial wastes before releasing them into the water bodies. So if we can follow these methods quickly, regularly, then we can save the land and we can control this land degradation. Thank you.